And look, John, don't move because you broke it last time.
Yeah. Easy.
And,
Easy.
Denny, John, and we're doing a little bit of a post-show.
Yeah,
whatever this is
after the show, right?
It's called a post-mortem.
In some cases.
Hope for the caregiver posthumously.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good at all.
But we're back. While I have Denny here and of course the Count, who doesn't make many appearances on camera.
I don't. Well,
but
I don't want to.
It's not because we don't want him to, but because I hadn't figured out how to do a two-camera system going for the. Hey, look, we were doing good to have one camera in here. If you remember how much we struggled with that.
Well, we were doing good to have one radio station.
That
you got to start somewhere.
You do.
But now we're on, whatever.
Plethora. That was the word today we used twice.
Was that plethora?
Yes,
it was used twice.
Twice we used the word plethora. And so we just had a great time today. We talked about lightening up. Denny is just a really wonderful guy with a great sense of humor and a great sense of timing and
timing.
Exactly.
Timing.
And knowing when to shut up and let the other guy talk.
And this is our journey as caregivers. We've got to learn to be able to lighten up a little bit, but we're not going to do this by ourselves. Individually, we're going to all carry our own darkness, but when we get together with other people who are committed to the same thing of helping us lighten up, this is what can happen. John does this for me. I mean, this is my therapy to come over here and just hang out with John. And
he's paying you how much?
in titles.
Oh,
I paid the titles. And they're very heavy
programs.
Well, you're that age.
They're heavy titles. Heavy titles.
Yes, I saw that.
Heavy lies the crown.
Oh, yes. Laden.
John, let me ask you a question, John.
I have many answers, Peter. Some of them are even correct.
What do you look for in comedy?
What do I look for in comedy?
Yeah, what really kind of punches, just lights you up?
Very treasure. No, something unexpected. Something that's both the difference between expectation and reality is the essence of comedy. That's what it is. I mean, or it's in a lot of things.
That's well said.
Thank you. Yeah.
You didn't expect that, did you?
Yeah. Wow, no, depth too.
What do you do? All that, all that height and depth too.
All this head, so little brain.
Do you? What do you look for?
He's right. Well, he's right about the surprise element, and that's what makes timing. If you tell somebody a joke and start going, "Oh, you're gonna love this. This is so funny," right off the bat, I'm going, "Okay, I'll be the judge of that."
Yeah.
How about you let me tell you when it's funny? And so it is that surprise element. It's that exaggeration. It's that I thought you were going here and you took a left turn and went someplace I didn't see it coming. That is surprise element is the biggest part of comedy.
When I was writing Gracie's book, and I remember the editor telling me one time, "Show, don't tell." Mm-hmm. And I was helping her put together her book. This is some years ago, and you can get that book, by the way. Gracie, Standing with Hope. It's available wherever books are sold. And all the proceeds feed and clothe a hungry family.
Yes.
Ours. No, it's but that was the best piece of advice I got from the editor was show, don't tell. Because it's too easy to say we've had funny moments.
Right.
Just go ahead and show the funny moments. Do the bit.
Well, that's day one in graphic design is you never put. It's like there's a picture of an apple. You don't have to put the word apple underneath it. So if you do that, that's just insulting to your audience.
John, by the way, in his other life, John does graphic design.
I do. A couple of things here and there.
Well, you're a visual guy, but you're also an audio guy, and so you see this from two.
I went to broadcasting school, and radio pays what radio pays. So
and then my show pays less than that.
Yeah. So I ended up with a couple of side skills that I transfer old home movies for people and do presentations.
He does. So if you have a box of old films and no matter what the medium.
Yeah, pretty much almost. I don't do 35mm movie film, but I do almost everything else.
VHS and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Lots of that,
Betamax.
Cave drawings.
Cave drawings.
I've done wax cylinders. That's not even a joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wax cylinders.
Yeah.
That's a
we
precursor.
have one of those.
Nice.
We have one that was done for Grayson when he won this big contest at the
Okay.
science thing, and they had all the kids doing their speech, and it went to the wax cylinder
Okay.
thing, and it was a big special thing to commemorate Einstein. Oh, not Einstein. Edison.
That hack.
Who stole everything from Tesla.
Exactly.
Taking no talent.
John still has not worked through forgiveness for this with Edison.
That and the burning of the Library of Alexandria. I'm just not going to let
Okay.
it
All right.
Boy carries a grudge. I'll tell you that
A little
right
bit.
now. But no, I think that with comedy and I don't profess to be a comedian. But I do have an avid interest in learning to like my own heart, and I love comics.
Mhm.
I love watching comics work. I love good comedy. I don't like comedy that is lowbrow. Because I think that's insulting to the audience.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of comedians out there today just go for the lowbrow or the vulgar, and I don't need
because lowbrow's fine. Look, there's
Yeah.
some bad jokes.
Unibrows.
I don't mind.
Okay.
I guess when they go to the vulgar and to the stupid, I don't mind people like Larry the Cable Guy. I love his stuff because he does do those surprises.
Yeah.
And he throws in those things that are hilarious. Now sometimes he'll get a little bit blue, but
Yeah, that's the industry term there.
but I do like it when people surprise you with cleverness, and I think that's why one of my favorites, Stephen Wright.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I
absolutely.
love Stephen Wright. Who do you like?
Oh, I'm definitely old school with people like Rodney Dangerfield and Steve Martin, and one of my all-time favorites was Johnny Carson.
Do a little bit of Johnny.
I mean, I used to watch Johnny quite a bit, and he would tell you it was a great day in L.A., but it was a little bit on the hot side. It was
How
really
hot was it?
I don't want to say it was hot, but I saw a robin pulling a worm out of the ground using potholders. But I said it was hot. I didn't say it was funny.
You are correct, sir. Who do you like?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Who do you like that we would want to know?
Oh, okay. I do really like Stephen Wright. That's fantastic. But I'm actually, you know this, I'm a Weird Al guy.
I love Weird Al.
Weird Al.
Do you like Emo Phillips?
Oh, I'm an emophiliac.
I can't get that, can I? Can you stand over there?
I love him. I love him.
Well, he was in the Weird Al Paragon of Cinema, UHF. He was remember he was cutting this, or he bled everywhere because of the hemophiliac.
Yeah.
Was he? But he wasn't playing himself. He
He had a show on UHF.
Oh, that was him.
Uh-huh.
I never knew that.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I like him a
he's
lot
half the
because he's so unexpected.
Yeah.
Like he said when he met his girlfriend, and he said it was I feel bad because I ended up getting sick and throwing up on her grandmother, and everybody's like, oh. He said, fortunately, I was the last in line viewing the body. And I had to almost pull over when I was listening to that.
Yeah.
I thought, that's funny. And, and then if you ever get a chance, listen to the one where he does this thing about talking with some guy that he met from Michigan, and the doctrinal, I'm from such and such. Are you a Baptist Reformed such and such, and he goes through this whole incredible detail.
Sure.
Have you ever heard that bit?
Yeah. Pre or post Council of Nicaea.
Yeah. And then when it says post, you heretic. It was so brilliant, and I thought that kind of humor I really like, and it's clever, it's smart. I like Steve Martin. I like his style of humor. I like John Panette. It got John Panette though got a little bit on all my stuff is going to be about food and fat, and I like people that can expand a little bit.
Yeah,
but I
thought Hooters had a one-track mind.
Yeah, and that's. But I look for comedy that's going to elevate me a little bit intellectually, lighten my heart a little bit, and make me kind of explode a little bit with laughter, so that I can kind of breathe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I feel sometimes so heavy,
Right.
and so I look for people that can reach into it and say, here's a lifeline, hang on to this, I'm going to lighten your heart. And one of the best quotes I got about entertainers was Barry Manilow said, I can't cure cancer, but for an hour and a half, I'm going to make you forget you got it.
Hey,
There you go.
And I thought,
That's brilliant.
I thought that a real entertainer understands that concept, and so that's what I look for. And I love
remember that.
Jeff Foxworthy does the same thing. He said, look, he said
Taking
this.
notes.
Oh yeah.
When we saw Jeff and Jay Leno the other night at the Grand Ole, Jeff came out and he said, "Look, and he said this before he started his whole bit, and then he segued smoothly into it. He said, "There's enough heartache in this room to weigh us all down, but for the next little bit of time, we're going to forget about that for a little bit, and we're going to just lighten up and laugh together." And I was like, "You don't see that a lot with comedians." And yet I thought it was pretty cool. This is what he's helped me do for, by the way, been on the air for 6 years.
6 years.
Next month
What do you
on
know?
this station.
Once a week.
And then, but you've helped me, you've helped enlarge my heart a little
We're
bit.
talking
that I
about
can
lightening your heart.
Well, enlarge it in a good way.
Do you have CPR? Because I don't. I forget a lot of that stuff.
No, he owes me $5. But the same thing when I first met you and I started hearing the way you responded with that speed and with that engagement. What flips your switch when you're looking for what are you looking for besides that unexpected moment? What really just makes you want? There are some comedians I've watched by myself at home. I watch on television and I'll stand up and just applaud because they're that good. What does that for you?
I don't know if I can put my finger on it, but I'm always listening for plays on words. No, I'm not going to put my finger on it. You see, I'm not going to touch it.
Okay,
That kind of thing. Looking for the plays on words. Those little
cleverness.
Yeah, little cleverness. You don't realize what you just said. Let me tell you what you just said, and take it there. That kind of thing. So I guess I'm listening.
Oh, well, I like it when I learn something. Like I recently learned that French fries were not French at all. They weren't fried in France at all for the first
You just
time.
crushed my world.
Well, it's because they were fried in Greece.
Oh no, you don't.
See, and what you have there is anti-comedy.
Exactly. That's so. I'm not going to tell you what I like. I'm going to show you what I like.
That's right.
Anti-comedy. I like just a terrible. Well, when it's like dad joke.
Do you really like dad jokes?
I love dad jokes. When a joke becomes a dad joke. I've told you this, right? Well, there's a couple of different times. So, the first time is when the punchline becomes apparent.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah. Y'all can have that one. Free
Yeah,
of charge.
really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely.
Where's my
Yeah,
pen
yeah.
now? I need to be writing.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do. I like disappointing.
I like disappointing people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's your motivation for comedy is to disappoint your
ask all
audience.
my exes.
Yeah.
I like disappointing people.
What you know? Oh. There's a string of disappointment behind you.
Well, I feel I like to be able to hang on to something that pulls me out of the quicksand a little bit. And
Like what?
cleverness is a thing where when you have a comedian who is so good at what they do that you can watch them without holding your breath, wondering if they're going to just fall off the stage kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like to watch real pros do their job. When I was watching Jay Leno the other night, and I've never seen him do a whole bit. I've just seen him do the Tonight Show stuff.
Right.
And I was watching him at the Grand Ole Opry, and it was like watching a virtuoso play. It was so amazing. And I've seen, when I watch Itzhak Perlman play live, you're not wondering, is he going to mess up?
Right.
You're just basking in the fact that this guy has crafted his instrument and his skills so well that you could just sit there and just let it wash all over you.
I know this is a side thing. I'm going to the Rachmaninoff third piano concerto at the Schermerhorn later this
You're not
week.
going to heckle, are you?
No,
You
not
call
that
that
piece.
Rachmaninoff?
No, man, no, it's a terrifying piece.
There's
So
42
no,
other keys on that piano.
Come on. You can tell who the pianist is in the room.
So you're gonna rock the monorail. Okay.
there you go.
Well, but the
No,
point is when you
it's-
see somebody who is so good at what they do, and then you could just rest in that and trust them to take you down to a better place.
Yes.
Musically, comedically, visually, whatever. And so when I was watching Jay and Jeff the other night, first off, I had this enormous confidence that these guys are so good that I could just, okay, I'm going to get in the boat and just steer.
Mhm.
Just y'all do. I mean, y'all. I'm not steering. I'm just going to ride. I'm just a passenger.
Just float down.
When I go out on snowmobiles, when I take
You really need to steer.
This
when
is
you
this
do
is
that.
yeah. This I suggest you keep the steering going.
When I go out on snowmobiles, I go. There's a guy that I go with that lives down the road, and he knows all the trails, and he's so competent. I can rest and enjoy the ride, knowing that I'm not going to be panicked about getting stuck or going off the trail or something like that, because I got somebody there that's guiding me confidently and competently down the trails. And I think that's what I look for in comedy. That's what I look for in just about anything. People that are really have just weathered this thing. They've done this enough. They're pros at what they do, and I want to learn from them. And comedy is one of those things that just really intrigues me, because it is such a unusual skill, particularly stand-up comedy, because it's just you, a microphone, and the audience.
Yeah, you kill or you die.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And Jeff told me that he was. I heard him say this in an interview, that he was playing in a place, and they were on the second floor, and they were soaking napkins in beer and throwing it at him while he was on the stage for a $40 gig.
Wow.
And he got stiff for the $40, and he needed the $40.
Yeah.
And I don't know about y'all, but I know what it feels like to need $40.
Oh yeah.
And today, and make that check out to know.
Yeah.
But I thought he's come from that to being where he is, and so I respect the hard work that goes into it. I don't think a lot of people realize how much hard work goes into it, but when it pays off, and so I love that. I just love that. And he and I bang this idea around a lot here about what do we like that really feeds our soul, and we'll have. I wish we had done this for a lot of post shows before, because our conversations go into just wild areas.
Yeah, it's not that. Now that you say that, it's
Probably good.
amazing.
No, we just hit a myriad of subjects, and it just goes like this, and we can't always do that on the air because of the format.
Right.
Well,
And so
we don't want to give out endgame spoilers.
that's true,
Yeah.
and
Right.
but that's what it does for. That's what I look for.
Mm-hmm.
And do you? Like, you're going to be, I mean, you do a lot of voice acting and all that kind of stuff, but what's the thing that really cranks your engine that you love to do?
More than anything else? Oh, wow. I love absurdity. I love getting absurd. All right. And that usually plays out in writing stories that are meant to be comical. Like, I've totally trashed the Samson and Delilah story, for example, in audio. And,
where can one get this?
I have it in my vault on my computer. You're welcome to come over to the house.
Is it something? Is it a bit?
It's a bit. It's about a 5 or 6 minute rehashing of the story of Samson and Delilah.